ミリーコンピュータの楽しいカセット情報。シングルスダブルスの本格テニスをコンピュータと技比べ、5段階のランクが楽しめます。ピンボール、迫力のフリッパー、スロットマシンのスリル、ポーカーゲームの興奮、ビンゴの面白さの全てを結集したピンボールの決定版。さらにゴルフ、光線銃など面白カセットどんどん登場。
コンピューター登場。カセットを挿入するとカラー52色の鮮やかな画像。コンピューターを相手に麻雀、五目並べ、そしてポパイ、ドンキーコング、2人で楽しめるマリオブラザーズなど10種類。ポーズボタンと切り替えスイッチで簡単にテレビ番組に変わるテレビ共存タイプ。家族揃ってファミリーコンピューター。
40 years. How's it going, everybody? It's time for another great Mr. Poestyle video, and here we are, 40 years. What the hell are you talking about, Mr. Poestyle? Well, this weekend, this is the 40th anniversary of the Nintendo Famicom. July 15th, 1983, Nintendo introduced the Famicom, the home cassette type video game family computer, or the Famicom, Family Com computer, over in Japan. And it launched with 3 first-party arcade games. That was Donkey Kong, Donkey Kong Jr., and Popeye. And we just so happen to have... Okay, I'm cheating here. I have Donkey Kong 3. That wasn't a launch title. I bought this just because it was cheaper than buying the NES North American version of it at the time. So I've done that. I have an adapter to play Famicom games. I've had it for a while, and I have a bunch of Famicom games that I play on my original NES that I got as a kid. You can do that. But I do have Popeye, of course, as in my other series, the Popeye series. Haven't got to it yet, but I will. I also have the NES version of this, of course, because I love Popeye. But yeah, the Famicom. And what do I have here? The Famicom. That's right. The Japanese NES, right? But this came out well before, a couple years before, North America finally got their greedy little sticky American chubby hands on it. And look at it. It's a lot smaller than I would have thought. Now, I've wanted one of these for years. And I just finally got one. I wanted one. Well, I made do with an adapter over here. For a long time, you could get Famicom version games for cheaper. And as long as they weren't heavily text-based games, you were fine with that. You didn't want to get an RPG that was all Japanese unless you knew Japanese. I do not. But anything else, or even games that were exclusive in Japan, I do have one here. I haven't tried yet. But certain games came out over there that didn't come out over here. Maybe you want to bring them here and play them because you never got to. Well, I'm sure you can on emulator and stuff. I like having physical. But anyway, yeah, you could do that and put them in an adapter. So I wanted one, and I wanted a disk system and all that, and I just didn't do it. And I was happy enough, you know. I'm like, you know what? I don't need another piece of hardware. Well, a month or so ago, I don't know, I was on eBay and I saw the gun, the light gun, the Famicom light gun. And I've seen these before, but I saw a good deal. Here was a boxed gun. And I'm like, you know what, I really want that. I really want that for my collection. And this is it. This is what they got over in Japan. I know I'm getting off topic here, as always. But look at this baby. We should have got this, right? Now, I have the original gray Zapper is what I bought. And then later they came out with the orange one in '89 when everything went to orange for safety reasons here in North America. But this thing, you pull it and the hammer comes back when you pull the trigger. Look at that light gun. But look, that's not an NES end on there. You can't use this on your NES. Now, there was somebody at some point in time that made an adapter that you could plug this into your NES if you bought this. The guy no longer has them in stock. This was a few years back. There is a thing where you could sign up for an email in case he ever has them. I reached out to him, never heard anything back. But I'm like, well, darn it. Unless I can figure out how to make my own cable this is just a nice showpiece, right? So I'm okay with that. I thought this was cool, so I planned on making a video about that. And at some point when I'm looking at it, then I just found a Famicom for a really great price. A really great price. And a lot of them turn yellow through time and they look like garbage and whatnot. But this one was at a great price, and it's not that filthy. It's not that yellow. It's not that beige. But this is where the gun goes in, the data port, right there. That's what we're looking at. So it plugs right into there. So now I have this. Now the only other thing is these were RF only. I am going to do an AV mod, you know, just to get a nice cleaner picture. But here you have it. This is your Famicom. The controllers were built in. Beautiful controllers, but the wire on the side, that might be something to get used to. Love the red, the burgundy, maroon, whatever color you want to call it. Let's take a look here. 40-year-old system, but look, little dust cover here. And that is where your cartridge goes, right there. You take your Popeye. You just click it in there. Nice, firm grip. Top loader machine. But this came out in 1983 over there, and by the end of 1984 it was the best-selling console in Japan. By the end of 1984, that's how huge it hit. And we were having our game crash over here, North American game crash over here, nowhere else in the world. But then computers got big everywhere else. So 83 over there, did not hit the US until it hit certain test markets in 1985. I was not aware of the NES until fall of '86 when it finally hit our area. I found it completely by accident in our local Kmart, begged for it, and got it Christmas of '86. And I was one of the first people I knew in my area here in Western PA to have an NES. Again, different story for a different time, but these controllers were hardwired in on the Famicom. And the cords aren't that long, so you had to be pretty close. You had to have this pulled out to you. Now, the controller number 2 had a microphone built in, a little volume slider, and games like Legend of Zelda had characters that you could kill by shouting into the microphone. So that's different too. We didn't have that over here. Really cool. Really, really cool. And these things, now the NES was very successful, as we know over here. It brought console gaming back to the US and just blew everybody away, right? Until the Genesis came along, the NES had that stronghold over here like nobody else. And the NES was manufactured over here until 1995, so 85, really 86, think about it, until 95, a 10-year run for the NES. But listen to this, the Famicom. 1983 it came out. It was manufactured in Japan until 2003. 2003, so 20 years. That is crazy. The last Famicom was September 25th of 2003. So 40 years we have of this. 20 years since it was last manufactured. That is crazy. That is a console that's just nuts. And of course Nintendo has been around a lot longer than that, 100-some years, with playing cards and different ventures that they've done, arcade game releases. And in the 70s they did the Duck Hunt light gun thing, you know, for arcades. Craziness. And I even have years ago my first 8-bit do. I bought 8-bit do controllers for my NES, wireless controllers, my SNES and my Sega Genesis. I bought the Famicom version, which it's 4 buttons with shoulder buttons, but I mean, I just like the color scheme so much because it looked like a Famicom controller, except you have 4 buttons and shoulder controller. But it even looks like it here, so thought that was very neat. And yeah, it was true to size. If you look at it, it fits right into that controller holder. So yeah, I thought it was really cool, and fits right in there. But 40 years, happy birthday to the Nintendo Famicom. Really something neat. And I don't know. Just think it's a really cool machine. And like I said, I have the disc player coming here really soon. Really looking forward to that and trying some of those out. So something that I really wanted and didn't plan on it, but then the light gun happened and things kind of snowballed, and now here we have all this stuff. But another neat thing is just the differences in cartridge size. Now the chip inside is the same size, really. The pin are different. But here you have Duck Hunt in the US, Duck Hunt on the Famicom, cartridge differences, and of course my original Mario Brothers that came packed in with my NES and the Famicom version. So really cool. Trying to keep this shorter if I can, but happy birthday to the Nintendo Famicom. What the hell is all this stuff in my chair? Famicom. What is this, an intercom system? There's a microphone there. Donkey shit, darling donkey shit. How you tore your dress, I confess. I saw your breasts. Oh, yes, yes. I like your Famicom. What else is here? Now, what in the world is this doing sitting here? Ouch. Oh, Nacho. Come here, Nacho. No biting. No bite. Ooh, no biting. Oh, Nacho, stop.